Hello everybody, welcome back to the Divinity Guide. We've got a bunch of dialogue to go through with Arhu, and then I will rejoin you.
Wizard, a guardian of man and beast, and indeed I am both. My body, like any other, is bound to temporal decay. But my spirit is a speck of light that shone forth from the eternal sun that is the cosmic soul. My task upon this earth is to protect the heart of nature, the very antithesis of which is the intrigue spun by demons and directors of the dead. Hence my involvement in Siciel. You see, my one desire is to witness a world in which every mother looks around her and purrs with calm contentment, for she knows that her chicks or children, her cubs or calves, will grow up without knowing the meaning of menace, the enfeeblement of fear. To my great regret, none of them purr as yet. Oh, but that's not a trick. It's a blessing. Or does it surprise you that I enjoy taking a feline guise? Such magic is a gift, Hunter. To tread upon the realm of instinct, even articulate speech, perhaps humanity's greatest asset, cannot give expression to something so inextricably innate. To be out in the night, to stalk on silent paws and hunt with only the moon as your witness. You couldn't possibly imagine the thrill. But of course it's handy to speak in more than meows. And I couldn't brew potions or make machines without opposable thumbs, this I freely admit. Let's just say I have found a way to enjoy the best of two worlds. Oh, that'll never happen. Granted, a witch could make the polymorph permanent if she'd enchant me in my cat guise, but I'll just have to be careful around witches, won't I? I'm my own wizard, you know, and I don't intend to become anyone's familiar. By all means. Of course, I hope your investigation fares well. I can but piece together what few morsels fell from the grapevine into a rather disappointing meal, I'm afraid. They say a woman arrived in the King Crab Inn sometime after midnight. She retired to a room on the ground floor where she was soon joined by a man who had been nursing the same cup of wine for hours. I say man and woman because both of them were cloaked and recognized by none. About an hour later, another figure arrived, headed for the same room. Soon after, a terrible commotion erupted and the thundering light of magic was witnessed by the few remaining patrons. It took a while for the landlord to pluck up the courage to enter the mystery room. When finally he did, he found Jake there, dead. How and why he came to be there, no one knows. But I had a good look around the scene of the crime before the Legion barred anyone from entering. The traces of magic I felt were vile. Source, no doubt. I myself have none, even though the rest of the town has already mentally tried and convicted Jake's wife, Esmeralda. Now, it may well be established that she is in fact the guilty party. I'm not claiming that I'm certain she's innocent, but let's just say that if I really thought this murder case would be so very easily resolved, I wouldn't have sent for source hunters. It might be a bit late to inspect the body, in that it has already been buried. It may be worth your while to speak to the mortician, though. A chap called Roberts. He has a house by the graveyard. I can't say much more, but that they're madmen. All the more dangerous to us because of their alliance with what should be a natural enemy. You won't see me teaming up with a terrier in a hurry.
What? I'd never. If you must know, I was merely checking up on Maxine, the mayor's cat.
What a delight she is. The temperament of a tiger, the grace of a leopard, and the manners of a lady all rolled into one. A perfect puss, if ever there was one. And what might those be? failed? Who is the mongrel that dares to question my engineering expertise? I take it the mutt in question was referring to the Sparkmaster 5000. It isn't failing, it just became... well, it became self-aware. Frightfully annoying when that happens. You know what? Here's the remote access device with which I used to control it. There's a manual for that somewhere around here, too. Yours, if you can find it. I really should invite Victoria one of these days, so she can help me organize my mess of a library. You have a flair for understatements, Hunter. I'm sure they are but a minor nuisance in the eyes of a born warrior. But to the Legion, they are green-skinned death incarnate. Until they conclude what mischief they intend to see through, or, less likely, they are conclusively defeated, we can but bar the gates and hole up like mice while the cats are on the prowl. Oh, a mere trifle for one with the intellect of a feline and the engineering skills of a human. You basically construct a classic ballista, add a 100% legally obtained self-regenerating source of destructive magic to it, and Bobcat's your uncle.
Okay, so there, I don't know what actually something updated our log there. It must have just been the dialogue with Arhu, obviously. But all right, so we're going to head back here. I think I'm gonna go over to the area where the Legionnaires are kind of training at, and I don't know if I actually steal those treasure chests yet. There's still, I believe there's still 2 treasure chests that I haven't opened up yet. And there's actually a key on the ground right next to that stove. And I don't think I noticed it before, which is weird. But I just must not have used the search function. But yeah, there's a, like I said, there's a key on the ground over there. And I guess how I stumbled upon that was I just happened to click in the, so I'm playing on the Xbox One, and I clicked the right hand stick, sorry, like the joystick, and if you click it, it'll highlight items that are on the ground, and it'll even tell you like some of their names. So like keys, for instance, or plants, things like that. It won't highlight like containers though. So like if there's a barrel, it won't, you know, show you that there's a barrel there. Sometimes chests will show up. I noticed there's a few chests on the, what is it, like the beach area over, I guess it would be like the western beach. I haven't actually explored there yet, but it was something that I had I took footage of last night. So it was, you know, some of the things like that will, but for the most part, most of the containers don't show up when you do that. But again, highly useful. I do like, you know, tapping that on every once in a while. The only thing I would say is if you're entering a room like for the first time and there's a bunch of stuff everywhere, it feels like a little cluttered. So I'll click it off and then, you know, steal everything, and sometimes I click it then to see if I've missed anything. So very, very useful addition to the game, which I actually didn't know the first probably 2 times I played the game. I didn't even know you could do that. So you know, I stumbled on a couple of new things at least this playthrough, which is always kind of fun, kind of nice. The crafting, boy, I wasted a lot of time crafting before, and so I know I've been alluding to it a couple of times, but I think I'll do, you know, a bit of a crafting guide once I familiarize myself with it a bit more. And boy, it's so much easier than I realized. You can like manually craft, I guess I would say, and that was the only way I knew, you know, or that was the only way I was crafting, and there was a much faster way to do that. So once I make that guide, we'll go over that. But all right, so here I'm just this is the Undertaker's place, I guess. And Robert's ledger there has some important information in it, if I remember correctly. But I'm just stealing everything I can. Okay, so let's get him to face the right way. I know at some point here I messed up big time, and I ended up, I think I completely redid, like I stole everything again, because I think what happened was it was a typical where I was facing, oh, what was that? I thought he went downstairs. He was facing a certain direction, and I think what happened was I went to speak with him, and I interacted with, I think it was actually this wood pile here, and I wasn't sneaking at the time, and it alerted him, so I don't know, it's really annoying. Alright, so what do we get there? There was a key of some sort. I don't remember what that's for. It's probably something in the back room there. We've got some animal hide, that's nice. An animal hide combined with a knife will get you leather scraps, and then leather scraps can be made into armor. So that's a fun little recipe for you. I use that a lot. That's one of the items that I make quite a bit of. I think I end up equipping that spear, actually. I think I'm still using that spear right now. And I think that was what the key was for.
Another
It was
piece
for the
of
chest.
trash.
We got a ring inside the trophy. Very nice. Not in the mood for cheese. I've got the game running in the background while I make this video. So I'm standing in the middle of town next to the fish vendor. I love his lines. Oh, I think it's my favorite NPC in the whole game. Possibly in any game. Okay, I think that's it. So hopefully... Oh, there it is. See, there it is. That was where I messed up. I went to talk to him, and I was standing too close to the woodpile. So that's one of the...
So, what's
I
the
mentioned that
bad
in
news?
I think the other
More
video
orcs
was...
rampaging through
One
the
of the
docks?
things that
One of
annoys
those
me about
infernal
this game is like...
statues sent another soul
You
flying
know,
to his
all
death.
it takes is to be standing in slightly the wrong spot, and you just get boned. And I mean, to be honest, I only lost 10 standing with him, so
This
it wasn't
here's
that
my
big of a
family
deal.
business. Yes, there's been a Roberts escorting stiffs into the next life since the foundation of Seal itself. They don't write epics about morticians, but I'm proud of my work nonetheless. Sad story, that. Though if I'm speaking plainly, the sentimental aspect of it all doesn't make much of an impression on an undertaker. Especially not these days, with so many laid low by the orcs and such like. I just concern myself with giving the remains a respectable exit from life. We set him to rest in the northern graveyard. Perhaps he can finally get a little peace. What about it? Didn't I just say we gave it a respectable send-off? Why are you giving me the 3rd degree? Now, if you don't mind, I'm trying to run a business here.
Okay. Yeah, so like I said, I mean, you know, I don't know, it can be a little annoying. Like 10 standing though, or a 10 standing loss isn't that big of a deal. The problem though is when you know, you do something that results in guards being called on you, and then it's just like, ugh, are you kidding me? So I don't know, it's the one thing I would argue about this game that I don't like that much. It's just so easy to mistakenly you know, do something that you didn't intend to do, like, you know, steal something right in front of someone's face. So again, that's my one gripe, I would say. But all right, so I'm gonna cut this stuff out because it's just me that's stealing everything again.
I'm sad.
Okay, there we go.
just
So I cut
concerned
out me ripping
So,
everything
what's
off
the
again.
bad news? More orcs? What about it?
Okay. And then so when you talk to Roberts, buried some under or soon after the murder in the graveyard just east of Robert's house. Okay. So he gets a little, I would say he gets a little testy with you when you mention Jake again. And he's just like, hey, we gave him what does he say, a proper burial or whatever. So we will look into that a bit more. But here is Robert's ledger. Okay, so he implicates the, what is it, the 4 or is it 5 major suspects?
Suspicious about Jake.
And then there you get
Mayor Cecil,
another
Captain
little
Aureus,
update.
Or Evelyn have to do with
So
it.
Cecil, Aureus, or Evelyn.
So, what's the bad news? More old sad story. I just concern myself with giving...
Okay. And then, yeah, he doesn't have anything else to say. So I would say the next stop would probably be the graveyard. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so I thought that quests, when they were completed, they would went to a different heading, like a completed quest heading. I must be thinking of a different game entirely. But yeah, that's a little annoying. I guess the ones though that when they blink like that, that means that there's a new update. So you can actually go through your quest log and kind of like just look at where you're at on some of them. And most of the time you'll know when you've completed one, but whenever you get an update, then they'll flash like that again. So that can be at least kind of a way to check out what you've done and what you haven't done. Here I'm just gonna, I think I need to rip off everything from these guys. I'm gonna steal some more. Steal some more booty from these legionnaires. We'll put it to good use though. That might not be true.
Oh, it never ends around here. There's a zombie in my garden.
What are you doing outside?
Okay. Night and day, day and night.
There we go. Let's get this. Yeah, that's a good idea. Save before I start ripping stuff off in case I screwed something up. Don't want to have to steal all of Robert's garbage again. That would be annoying. Ooh, okay, what do we got here? Arrow shaft, some gold. Bracers, alright. Guy had all kinds of fun stuff. How about you? Potion, chicken's foot, super weird. I think you're supposed to have a rabbit's foot, buddy, if you're looking for good luck. But hey, who am I to judge? Okay. Swordfish. Nice. Okay. I assume the fish in this game go to a recipe, but I don't know. I've never... That's another one of those, like, when it comes to, like, the food and potions, I haven't really looked into any of that stuff. I don't really like... or the reason why I think I really avoided it was because they're not permanent effects. So, like, when you use a potion or a, food, it only lasts for a certain amount of time. And I don't know. I don't know if it's... Maybe it's super useful. I don't know. I guess that's one of those things. I'll have to actually give it a shot. But for the most part, I just didn't mess around with it. It's... I would almost say again, it's almost kind of time-consuming to make this stuff, and then to just not have it be like permanent effects. I guess is kind of one of the reasons why I just stayed away from it. So that's my 2 cents on potions and food. All right, okay, so we're gonna explore Reginald's house here, which you do get the key from pickpocketing Reginald himself. And then we need to go over here to this mat, and we need to move the mat. There we go, or the carpet, I guess is what it is. Yeah, you can't, I don't think you can actually use the hatch until you've moved the carpet, so let's move that right through Medora somehow. Okay, I think Reginald's got a bunch of garbage down here, so we're gonna grab that. Yeah, fake arrow, fake dagger. I don't know if you can do anything with this stuff, like the juggling orange and that. Oh, there's his diary. Okay. Some more juggling oranges on the floor. Maybe he's not very good. That was my take on Reginald anyway. And then at this point, you can use you can actually use the talking head in your inventory if you've got it down here. So let's, and you may be able to use it in other places too. I'm not sure, but I know Nick actually did mention that you know, you should bring him to Reginald, or yeah, Reginald's basement. So that's where we're at, obviously. Should be the most profitable at the fair. Yeah, I bulge with joy. Okay, dude. Wow, that's something. All right, so there we get a bunch of experience when we looked at the diary, and then I need to find Nick here. Where is he? There he is. The talking head. Okay, so that'll put him on the ground, and then you need to use it. There you go. Use.
Ah, a little privacy at last. Out of earshot of that contemptible jester, we can finally speak freely. My true name is Nick. In life, I was an entertainer aboard the ship of the famed Pontius Pirate. I once dared to defy him, and he savagely beheaded me for the attempt. Little did I know the abuse was only beginning. A wandering sorcerer, mad as the day is long, found my severed head on the beach and resurrected me. I spent months in his company listening to him blather on about his every inane opinion. When I asked him to return my head to my body, it must be in the Black Cove still, he became enraged and tossed my head into the sea. Reginald stumbled upon me some days later and consigned me into his horrid little show. I know not how long I've been entertaining slack-jawed imbeciles at the Sicil Fair. All I know is I just can't take it anymore. More than anything. But the chances are so slim with the Black Cove utterly infested with Pontius's undead cronies. My poor lost body is among them, sightless and silent in their vile company. For all I know, they're using it as a coat rack. Traveller, if there were any way you would brave the cove's depths and reunite me with myself, you'd be doing me the only kindness I'd have received in as long as my poor memory serves. That charlatan doesn't have a lick of his own talent. So he begs, borrows, and beats it from those of us with a real vision for the stage. What I wouldn't give to give old Reggie a swift kick in the jugglers. Oh, to have legs again. It won't be the worst indignation I've suffered. Get on with it then.
Okay, so there we get another log update. And that's about it. For now, anyway, of the things that we can do with
Now
Nick.
He's valuable.
He's gonna be taking a ride with us for quite some time. And then here's Evelyn's house. Obviously, I got the key from the the backpack or whatever in Thelarin's back room or his house. And I'm just gonna steal everything.
I was really hoping to find something
Why
better.
not? What do we have here? Some pillows. Alright, all kinds of loot in that chest. Like that. I like money. For any Idiocracy fans out there, it's my best impression I can do though, so. Alright, and then a reveal spell. Okay, that's pretty useful later, that reveal spell. That's, definitely needed. And then I think we got Evelyn's diary there too. And then we're gonna leave, I think we just leave all of our doors open, because why not? So we were born in barns. Okay, so let's take a look at all the different stuff that we got here. I read the book. Okay, I guess I knew all those recipes already. And then here's a book. Reanimation serum. Esmeralda evening visit. Oh my, okay, so that's kind of a big deal there. She talks about or alludes to a reanimation potion, and then mentions the King Crab Inn. So definitely some ties to Jake's murder, I would say there. And then this journal or book, or what is that, a letter to the conduit, definitely implicates or proves there's a connection between Evelyn and the conduit. And obviously the conduit is I believe right now is who the Immaculates are kind of worshipping. At least that was my impression as of right now. Get the rewards for me. Okay. And then this is Evelyn's diary. Okay, so she's saying she's disguised something at the west beach. Okay. Oh my, okay. Alright, so Evelyn talks about Arhu's machinery or machine or whatever going haywire, and that was actually, it helped her out. And then she talks about how the conduit has somehow imprisoned someone called the White Witch. So
what do I owe the repeated pleasure?
the plot thickens, I guess I would say.
Far be it from her to tell her master what in the seven. I'd try her house, for starters. It's not far from here. I'll mark the location on your map.
Okay, I don't think Thalarion had anything else to say there. I didn't notice anything new. We had already, I believe I had already spoke to him since Evelyn had disappeared, so, or took off.
Hidden between darkness and
And then
light.
yeah, he just directs you to her house. All right, so I guess wow, I haven't ripped off all these sweet arrows yet. This spot is one of those annoying spots in the game where, like, if you just try to open up the menu, your search menu, and then try to steal everything, your character will like run to the front side of the counter, and sometimes they'll run to the back side. It's really annoying, but all right. Eventually, I'll get everything stolen.
Freezing,
This poor
silver,
Fletcher.
poison. Get to the point.
What am I doing? Oh, donating. Okay. Oh, yeah. I originally decided to kind of donate some stuff to her, like my bows and stuff, but then I realized that that was going to fill up her inventory with a bunch of junk, and I didn't want to have to scroll through it, so I thought better of that idea, and I kind of just stuck to like the arrows and the throwable stuff like the grenades. So yeah, for the time being, I wish I would not have donated some of the garbage to her, and I'll probably end up buying some of it back off of her just to get it out of her inventory, because things like that really annoy me. But anyways, alright, that's it for this video. As always, hope this guide was helpful, and hope you join me for more videos. Thank you for watching.